Thanks so much for that. That brings us to approval of the consent agenda. Can I get a motion for that?
I'd like to exclude item 3D.
Item 3B,
D.
I'm sorry, 3D has been pulled off. Anybody else have anything they'd like removed? Can I get a motion to approve the consent with the exception of item 3D?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Alderman Deaconberg,
Yes.
Alderman Hooner,
Yes.
Alderman Jones,
Yes.
Alderman Norman,
Yes.
Alderman Horner,
Yes.
Alderman Lyford,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, citizen comments. I have Dennis Dieter.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Dennis Deere, live at 1097 Huntington Drive, Troy, Missouri. The reason I'm here tonight is I'm kind of curious about a few things in the future of the city. It's been found that the mayor had been found of an ethics violation. It was clearly stated, one, it's a violation of the city ordinance, it's a violation of state statute. I think he misled the people that night when he told them that he wanted to be the city administrator as well as the mayor. With that being said, that is illegal as well. I've talked this over with a lot of people that have come to me and asked me about it. I told them I'm no longer an alderman. They'd have to take it up with you guys. But I'm going to bring it up here anyway. Part of the reason my concern is, you sit back and you look at the violation, you look at the fine for said violation. And there's a part of me that wonders why. And then there's a part of me that says, I understand. Would I pay a $4,000 fine if I could reap $76,000 in profit knowing good well I didn't have to pay it back? That's up to you guys. Also, it kind of falls under some ethical part that if you agree with what it is, if it ever comes up for a vote and you agree, you're as guilty as the first part. It's kind of like being an accomplice to a crime. One other thing, at the last meeting, I raised my hand out here because I wanted to speak during the meeting. It's always happened, all the previous mayors, it's always happened. They let people speak. For some reason, the mayor won't let people speak now. Maybe he'll start, maybe he will, I don't know. But there's a lot of things some of you don't know that with the experience that's been on there. Like I said, I've been on board for 16 years. There's a lot of things that happened over those years. So whenever somebody raises their hand in the crowd, it'd probably be a bad idea to let them speak. Maybe they do know something and put some insight on something instead of just blatantly ignoring them. But one other thing, like I said, I want to reiterate to you guys that if you decide to ever vote on this and you decide that what he did was perfectly fine, you're an accomplice to that crime as well. Thank you. You all have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, I believe that brings us to item 3D. Alderman Lyford.
The expense report had an unusual item labeled legal service sexual harassment. If you go back to last month's report, there was similar items labeled ARA harassment investigation. We're talking thousands of dollars. I would think that if this were an HR employee situation, HR would have handled the investigation and we wouldn't see an expense. Can we get an explanation as to what this is all about?
This is an HR issue, dealt with personnel, specific personnel, so that would fall under closed session rules. You know, because people, it will be talking about individuals. We can offer some explanation in closed session.
Well, closed sessions should then detail in their minutes what this is all about.
We usually don't add the minutes in closed session. The conversation is not usually written down verbatim. Votes, any votes taken motions and things like that, but typically the closed session minutes are not, they're just the vote, that's all we have, so.
I mean, if we can elaborate on it, I'd be happy to elaborate what it is, if that's what you're asking.
Not in open session.
I don't have to name anyone or what the case is, but I would be happy to explain to him why it was investigated and what it was.
Closed session.
It needs to be in closed session because it involves another employee.
But I'm not an employee, that was made clear.
I understand.
If you could table this till after closed, then we would have that explanation, and you could come back out and pass the report, if that's, meets with the board's approval. I'll need a motion to table or a motion to approve the item D.
Motion to table.
Second.
Alderman Lyford,
Yes.
Alderman Meetimg,
Yes.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Dooner,
Yes.
Alderman Norman,
Yes.
Alderman Horner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I believe that brings us to item J. For this item, I will observe state statute. I'm going to turn the chair over to the board president, because if there is any, if this matter is dealt with and it would apply to me, then by 79.120, I cannot preside over this. So I turn the chair to board president to discuss this matter.
This is in reference to the ethics violation.
Could you use your mic?
I was wanting to ask the board to void the ordinance that gave the mayor the raise on the grounds that the ethics violation, on the ethics violation. The mayor shall have a seat and preside over the board of aldermen, but shall not vote on any question except in case of a tie, nor shall he preside or vote in cases when he has an interested party. And according to the Ethics Commission, it was a violation of State Statute 79.120. So I'm just asking the board to void that ordinance, and that is it. I'm not asking for any back pay to be reimbursed to the city of Troy. I'm just asking that when we move forward with this, that we follow the Ethics Committee, their ruling, and what the citizens of Troy are asking us to do is to void the ordinance like it never happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I had an opportunity to review the case law and the ethics finding, and I talked to Alderman Norman briefly. It's my opinion that in my conclusion that the mayor should not have voted based on those two things together. If we remove his tie-breaking vote, then the passage of the ordinance, it does not pass, which makes it void based on the case law. The problem is trying to figure out how to memorialize that, because obviously you can't repeal an ordinance with a salary, like you can't change the salary in the middle of the term. So trying to figure out a way to actually memorialize that so that everybody is on the same page and we're not just talking about it as something as void. My suggestion, if the board wants to go in that direction, would be to pass an ordinance, and this is an imperfect solution, pass an ordinance declaring that particular ordinance void so that there's a record of it for the city of Troy.
And if anybody would want to entertain for the next term, in 26 to 2030's mayor's term, with a pay raise, then they can, you can bring it up and then.
Yeah, I mean, that's a separate issue, obviously. The separate issue is if you guys want the salary to be what it is now, you could pass an ordinance for the next term. But as I read the case law with the ethics finding, the two things together, that's how I came to that conclusion.
So the salary would not change until the next term, is that correct?
No. in my opinion, it's void now. It should not be being paid now. The issue is, how do we address that formally? And so my suggestion would be for the board to actually act if that's what they want. If you don't act, I think it'll end up, even though I have the opinion that it's void, it's going to still be in play. So you guys, I feel like you guys need to do something. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting paid at this point. So if you don't want to do anything, you don't want to change it, that is okay. I mean, that's your choice, but I'm giving you what my opinion is based on what I've read with the ethics finding and the case law.
What?
So to clarify, your suggestion would be that we need to vote to,
So we've run into, I've talked about this with Tanya a little bit. We were trying to come up with a conclusion or a way to do this that works. And we don't have a perfect solution here. So the solution we came up with, because we were actually changing an ordinance or having an ordinance do something different, is for you to pass an ordinance that would say that it's void. So basically, making an ordinance that's saying what I'm saying. You don't have to do that. That is your choice. I'm just giving.
and then
you
that
a
null
suggestion.
voids all of,
From
from that point on.
Yes.
Well, okay, no, I mean, we could specifically say that if we
Okay.
wanted to, but the way I'm saying it, it should not have happened at the time
Correct.
it happened, so it would go all the way back to that point.
Gotcha.
But we would not go back and try to
You don't have
force the
to,
mayor to reimburse the city, because that's just too much of a burden on anybody. It's not our fault that the ethics committee or commission took I don't know how long, almost 2 years or whatever, when it was filed in 21 and then up to now. It's not our fault, so we should not, but from this day forward though, it should be void after their findings.
From a practical standpoint, if you don't pass anything, nothing's going to change. I can say it's void all day, and that does not make it void by myself.
So we need a motion for that.
We need a motion for me, if that's what you want to do, for me to draft an ordinance to that effect.
I will make that motion.
You're going to draft a motion to do what? Draft an ordinance to do what?
It would be to declare that the 1320 is void.
The
I think
establishing compensation for the mayor of the city of Troy, ordinance 1320.
And it would, just the salary would stop today and that's it.
Well, once we sign,
That's fair.
bring that
So-
ordinance up next month.
Tonight, we do not have an ordinance
Right.
at play, so I need direction from the board. If that's what you want me to do, I will do that, and then at the next meeting, we'll vote. There's not an ordinance before you right now.
Okay, then I will support you in creating one to do what you just said.
Okay.
you could consensus of vote to say you're going to pass an ordinance that doesn't exist for review for the people to examine. It's not really an action. You have to have the ordinance, so if they
We'll
are
have to
all.
next.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, but typically if you're gonna do an ordinance, you have to have a sponsorship for it.
Right, and that's what we're.
That's what I'm telling you.
Vote on
That would be it. That would be it.
That would be a good sponsorship, it's on there. But if he's looking for a general consensus, I would support that. I don't know about the rest of the board, but I would.
Can we get a consensus from the board in terms of what they want to do?
Please reiterate exactly what you want us to vote on.
Tonight, I don't want you to vote on anything. I'm asking for a consensus from the board if you want me to draft an ordinance saying that 1320 is void, having the Board of Aldermen declare that particular ordinance void.
And the page stops
Going
going forward and nothing else.
That is open for discussion.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
if that's what you want, yes.
yes.
That would be.
Part of it.
That would be part of
That'd be part of it.
it.
Right, that would be like the
Yeah, that would
whole
be part of the ordinance.
Right.
kit and caboodle.
I know.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm the only one that responded so far.
So far,
I said, no, that's-
that I have consent.
I was gonna say,
Right, so I agree with what we just talked about.
3, I guess, with, yes, okay. Okay, I will do that.
Okay. Mayor, I think it's back to you. Not until it's turned back to me.
I guess I'll turn this meeting back over to the mayor.
Thank you. Okay, item K, discuss ordinance for aldermanic conduct. Alderman Lifer.
I've done some research into a formal code of conduct or code of ethics. Other cities and organizations have adopted such codes, guidelines for decorum. My suggestion would be to establish a code of conduct or ethics for all elected officials, members of boards and committees, etc., for the city of Troy. Elected officials take an oath of office, but that is some vague as to contact and perception in carrying out those duties. As elected officials and members of boards, we gather together to conduct the business of the city for the benefit of its citizens. Those meetings should be able to operate with decorum guidelines. I would work with Attorney Sinclair to establish such a code. If you want a reference, Wentzville just passed their code of ethics in November of last year.
I think it's a good idea.
Don't we already have an ordinance for that?
I don't think we do.
No.
I think the city adopted Robert's Rules of Orders as a code years and years ago.
Right.
But not a formal one.
Right, Robert's rules apply to the running of a meeting. He's talking about conduct of personnel involved in that meeting. I would assume it's a lot like the attendance policy. You know, they put certain requirements, expectations, and then include in that whatever repercussions you might want with that.
But again, we're not considered employees, so we don't follow the policies or the procedures, which has been made clear multiple times to me. So
This would be a comprehensive code, includes conduct during meetings, aldermen, elected officials, to employees, city employees, those kinds of things.
I might suggest that the ordinance pertain to elected officials. I mean, you could adopt, you know, rules for and expectations just for the elected officials in the town.
But you have other committees in planning and zoning, as an example, Board of Adjustment. There should be some decorum established for all of those kinds of meetings.
Okay, yeah. All elected and board members. Yeah, I understand. So does anybody have any thoughts on that? If we get a consensus, then I guess Alderman Lyford would agree to
Yes.
help set that up. Any other thoughts on it?
I do. We're not considered employees. We don't follow the policies or the handbook. Even when an employee does something against us and we file against them a complaint, it doesn't matter because we're not considered employees, so much so that potentially one can do something that's quite offensive, nothing happens to them. So I think that we conduct ourselves quite well during meetings. I think that we conduct ourselves quite well at planning and zoning and all of the different workshops. And I think it's redundant, and I don't think it's necessary. I think we're all grown adults, and I think we're doing just fine without having more rules and regulations on us.
Why would Wentzville say it was okay? Other cities say it was okay to have a special code. We're no different than they are. The citizens deserve some decorum in our meetings and conduct, how we conduct city business. That's all I'm after.
And again, I have been president every single meeting since June of 2020, and quite frankly, there's only one that sticks out, and that's because there was a whole lot of disrespect among the entire room. And that's the only one that stands out in my mind between June of 2020 and now. And every other meeting has flowed just fine.
So you would be against a code of ethics?
I don't think it's necessary. I think we conduct ourselves just fine.
Well, there goes the argument.
So I have one person in
And
favor of
there's your
this
disrespect.
and one opposed. I have
So-
two opposite views here. We need to hear from the rest of the board if we're going to get a consensus. So does anybody else want to weigh in?
How detailed is it going to be? Were we talking like you're talking repercussions and stuff, you know, like we have for the attendance? What are we talking like for the meetings? What are you going to put in this ordinance?
Well, the draft would be presented for your approval. I mean, once you got the draft,
Do you have any idea what all is going to be detailed in it?
Yes, I have Winsfield's information. I cut and pasted some things that I'll give to the attorney. Specific guidelines of conduct.
Yeah, I mean, just rattle off a couple things. That's all I want to know, kind of like what they have. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking.
Well, there's a specific item here: conduct of members, respect for the process, conduct of public meetings, decorum. Again, conduct with city staff. Council conduct, boards, committees, commissions. You have to come up with then some guidelines as to what is an offense and what is not.
I mean, Dave, we can always, I mean,
I'm just
let him
asking.
work on it, right, no, I agree. I'm just, let him work on it, and he can always vote no, until you don't like it, so. But at least maybe present it, so we can take a look. If we don't like it, we can always vote no.
I say, no, do your thing.
Yep.
Bring it to us, and I'll
Okay.
vote no.
Anybody else have any discussion on that? Sounds like we have three people that would like to see something presented, so. Anybody else?
I say do it.
Okay. Okay, so Alderman Lyford will work with the city attorney on that. Item L, discuss revision of ordinance 1339 to include when absences are excused for sickness, hospitalization, surgery, or the medical issues that preclude attendance. This is ordinance that was passed back in June to address attendance issues by board members. So this, Alderman Dykemper, you want to expand on that?
I don't think we thought it through, and I think we ought to specifically address when absences are excused.
But we all agreed to this last June. We all read it. And then since then, you've missed 2 regular meetings and 3 workshops. I mean, how do you
Yes.
address the workshops? They should be written up in here for, somehow.
I was recovering from 2 surgeries on the same shoulder, David.
I understand that, but I mean, according to this though, that's why this was written up.
I agree.
Myself and Jesse wrote this up because of alderman, before you guys came along, missed 4 regular meetings and 3 workshops in a row. 7 meetings. I mean,
But his absence was a result of him working or out of town, is it not?
that may be, but still, he was elected, he should have resigned if he could not make the meetings.
So good his job.
I mean, people are, you're elected and they expect you to I've been here 6 years and
People
I've missed 2
cannot-
meetings.
Okay, people could not plan when they're going to be ill.
That's true.
They can't plan when they're going to have surgery, when they have a heart attack, when they have the cold or flu. They can't possibly plan that. And no matter how much they want to make the meeting, they can't be there.
But you miss 1 meeting, it's okay. You miss 2, you get a written
Yeah.
letter. You miss 3, you're on thin ice. You miss 4, and then you could be, removed from the board.
But I still think there should be some things in there that specifically identify
I mean,
when
how
there
do you-
is an excused absence, David.
How many excused absences do you excuse? 1, 2? That's my question.
Okay, it sounds like, again, we have one in favor of revision and one opposed. Can I hear from the rest of the board? Kind of see if we got a consensus here?
I think there's a difference between surgery absence and being on the road,
That may be,
not
but
being able to be in attendance. And I think what she is suggesting is that we amend or alter that particular ordinance to include surgeries and those kinds of things.
how many? How many days do you excuse?
Well, we need to write that up.
I just don't.
I think she has been in contact with the mayor when she was going to be absent. Isn't as though it was a surprise.
That's why we have this ordinance written up.
I understand,
And I understand that too.
what we're saying is, let's amend that, include the surgery thing, and
The question is, how many days do you excuse?
Well, that would be part of the
it would
amendment
be part
process.
of.
That would be part of the ordinance.
Well, we do, it is part of the ordinance, because you have one that is excused. After the second one, you have a written warning. Third one, nothing happens. The fourth one, we can remove you. That's plenty, I feel.
I was gonna say, it's not, our ordinance isn't a one and done, like you miss one meeting and you're done. There's four chances, and then even on the fourth chance, it doesn't say that
Second
you're
one's just
actually
giving you a
done.
written notice that you're,
I can sympathize with surgeries, I've had lots. I broke my ankle and I had surgery that Friday before and I came that Monday. I broke my hand and I came the next Monday. I've had surgeries and I've been here, I've had sickness and I've been here. I can sympathize with that. However, when the ordinance was written, it was written, I think, with that in mind, with giving the 4 chances of that, because you are elected, we are elected by the people. I don't think it's a one and done. I don't think our ordinance is stringent in that. And there's also other people on the board who have been sick and they've come.
Mr. Mayor, may I speak?
Okay, so 1339 actually provides for excusing those absences. So you have language in there already, but you don't have any way of addressing that, because in order to vote on excusing it, it has to be on the agenda. And so I think there is probably some tweaking that could be done there. If the rest of the board would kind of weigh in, we'll get a consensus on which way to go here, because you put that language in there for a reason, but there's really no way to apply it, so.
One of the suggestions I have, when I read it, and I was not the one that drafted it, but it does talk about hold on a second, I'm scrolling to find the right spot. It talks about it happening at the meeting that you're missing.
Right.
Which is not really a good mechanism, which is what the mayor is bringing
Right.
up too. So I do kind of suggest that needs to be tweaked, because I don't know exactly how that would work in any reasonable fashion.
Because when you notify
Yeah.
someone,
So if you take out the then, there's like then present in the actual ordinance. If we take that out, the board could address it at a later date if they wanted to. As
think
it
it
reads
should
right
be-
now, you would actually have
I
to
think we need to
excuse
tweak
at
it.
the same meeting. So that would be my 2 cents on what
Yeah.
needs to be changed.
I think the person should provide the rationale as to why they're not there.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
well, we got a couple questions.
Well, I know, but this is for debate for the board. We had public comment time, and you all have to make this decision. And all you're doing here is directing, getting a consensus on direction for the attorney.
So we need to do something and address the special meetings and workshops also, that they needs to be included in there somehow. If they're going to tweak it, and
Okay, so you're in favor of revising it then?
as long as the special board meetings and workshops are.
Okay, well, when the draft is proposed, then yeah, we'll
Because I'll work on
submit that
this.
for changes.
I worked on
So.
it before, but I don't, you get 4 chances. I don't know how many more you need. I mean,
Okay, anybody else from the board want to weigh in on this?
We all agree?
I think, do you have enough to,
I think we need to tweak what you said.
okay, so it looks like we have at least 3 that are willing to.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Okay, where are we at? Item M, discuss purchase of Blue Line AI software and splitting costs in the amount of $6,600 per year with other law enforcement agencies. Chief Jeff Taylor.
We actually pulled that, I talked to you earlier.
I know, it was too late to do anything, so you make your request and you'd like to remove that? Okay, so we are pulling that item from the agenda. Actually, it's too late to revise. How about a motion to table indefinitely? Can I get that from the board?
I'll make that motion to table.
Second.
Okay. And this is a motion to table indefinitely?
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Norman?
Yes.
Alderman Horner?
Yes.
Alderman Dooner?
Yes.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Leifer?
Yes.
Alderman DeKemper?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
Thank you. Item N, discuss contract for live scan printer for police department. Chief Jeff Taylor.
Probably 20 years ago, we had a live scan system at one of our booking stations. We decided to get out of it when we moved into this location here. We got rid of it. We were losing this booking station we had. State's approached us now with a live scan that we would get free of charge for 5 years. It's a 5-year contract, but there's no charge to the city. What this does is helps us identify people who are arresting, process them faster. It's a great system. They have it at booking at Sheriff's Department now. The guy who order, he's got to wait the booking through. And this is a faster way to get it back on the street quicker. They can come here, they can process through their booking right here in our booking room, get it all processed, it's electronically sent out. It's a great system. It's modernizing the department with better do. Like I said, they can process them faster and get these guys identified quicker. It's a 5-year contract, but it's no cost to the city of Troy. If we had to pay for it, it's like $66.25 a year, but it's no cost to the city of Troy.
Have you got a chance to review the contract, Brian?
No, I want to go this far with it, and I'm going to touch base with him. It's a contract that he go, but it's also we're going to ask for an amendment on our court costs. That's the next line item. But I want to get this taken care of first.
Okay, without a contract, we can get a motion on it, I guess. Anybody want to make a motion to approve item N?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
What is the motion? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Is that the motion to approve the contract or to approve?
Yes, it says discuss contract for live scan. I guess it really doesn't say discuss and approve. I apologize. I was thinking,
So it's just discuss.
yeah, just discussion. So we don't have anything on there to approve. If you're going to get the contract and,
I set that down to be for discussion and approval, but I can get with Brian probably more afternoon. I'll give you the contract or just the amendment to the ordinance to be able to take care of. It's a court cost $122.10. This would just add another $2 a month to our court cost.
I think that was the difference.
We need a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to get a contract. You're just sending the contract.
We'll email that to you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Then we're going to have that at the March meeting.
Yes.
okay, then I'll ask that that motion be withdrawn, please.
I'll withdraw my second. Harold?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Item O, discuss revision of prisoner fee ordinance.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about now. That's our court cost $122.10. Right now, it's they collect $2 for the police training. There's another fund for police training, so it's $3. And then there's $7.50 for crime victim compensation. But this, by adding the live scan, we can add another $2 to our inmate to the booking to help pay for credit cards and that kind of thing. So we don't have to put out any money for that.
Okay, so revision of an ordinance, we'll have to get a sponsor and,
Yes.
okay, so y'all have any questions about that? Can I get a consensus on revising the ordinance, please?
sponsor, that's good.
Is anybody opposed to a revision?
No.
Okay. Well, we got some more work for you. You're welcome. Okay, we'll get those in the works. Thank you. Take a motion to go into closed session for legal, real estate, and personnel, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Alderman Norman?
Yes.
Alderman Wiener?
Sorry, yes. Sorry.
Alderman Horner?
Yes.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Lyford?
Yes.
Alderman Campbell?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. So that's, I'm going to go on that.
You don't have to vote?
Okay. We're back in open session. I need a motion to approve item 3D, please.
So moved.
Second?
Alderman Lyford?
Yes.
Alderman Norman?
Yes.
Alderman Deacon?
Yes.
Alderman Wiener?
Yes.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Horner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn, please.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Alderman Norman?
Yes.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Deacon?
Yes.
Alderman Lyford?
Yes.
Alderman Wiener?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Alderman Horner?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
Thank you all. Have a good night.